The immortal John Hancock here, and let's talk some games. All right, we're going to be jumping right in and talking about Switch 2, pre-order, Mayhem, and my thoughts about the pre-order, and what did I do, what did I get, what are my thoughts about all of it. It's just been a lot of news lately, and it constantly evolves, at least for the United States, and the Mayhem dealing with the pre-orders. It was going to be available one day and it got pushed back due to tariff issues. Well, now it's here. So now the pre-order has been offered in the United States, and over 24 hours later, here we are. First up was Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. And so I attempted to get one at Walmart, and it was a complete debacle. I tried waiting in line online, which is just silly, and over an hour I just waited there and nothing. I wasn't able to complete a transaction, and like many other people, I got tired, stopped trying, and went to bed. Lo and behold, about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I thought I'd just get up and see, let's see if there's any available, and there was. I went to Walmart. I purchased the Mario Kart World Bundle, a digital copy of the game with the console for a whopping $500. And so, as a content creator, I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on the Switch 2, something that, I upgraded my computer so I could capture footage in 4K. And so to me, I could justify the $500 purchase, as I want to play Nintendo first-party games, and Mario Kart World looks fun. That's something that I think my family's going to enjoy playing, as well as some other games, and we're going to jump right into that. So other places that were offering it, Target, Best Buy, kind of the same thing. I think they were overwhelmed with the demand, and I'm sure there's scalpers trying to get their hands on it to resell, and that's frustrating for people that just want a Switch 2 for their family, or people that just want to play Nintendo games. Nintendo has a huge fan base, and the original Switch was a huge success. 150 million copies sold, way more than I anticipated. And it's been 8 years since the launch of the original Switch. Here's my original Switch. Definitely not my original controllers. I just got an orange one. Looks pretty awesome, and it still works. I've talked about it. I've had some issues with my original Switch. Eventually, I upgraded and got an OLED, and looks great. And this is my kind of day-to-day driver for my Switch. And I like these Joy-Con holders where you can have a controller like this. Pretty cool that Nintendo Switch 2 is continuing that. And good news is all your Switch Joy-Con controllers can work with the Switch 2. And so let's jump into that and talk about that. So $500 is a lot. I think that's like the max I think that they should go for a console. We'll see. I think it's going to be hard to tell early on how well Switch is going to be doing, because I think the early adopters and the Nintendo fanboys are going to be the people that are going to jump in first. The question is, especially if the economy sours, or the higher cost of these games, we're going to get to that in a minute, is that going to impact Nintendo? Is that going to impact the sales of the Switch 2, or are people just going to pay up? And so, for me, I'm definitely starting to look more digital, and I kind of was 50-50 with the Switch, as, I've done videos on eShop specials. For me, as I get older, collecting physical, while I love collecting original physical games, when I just want to play something, especially on the go or something like a Switch, it's nice to have it all digital. I'm a big fan of the Steam Deck. That's all digital, no problem. And I have several other consoles that are digital. I think of the Atari VCS. I think of the Playdate. I think of some other ones that are just digital only. And at the end of the day, does that bother me? Not really. I like to have a physical option, and but the truth be told is a majority of people are playing their games, and that's what it comes down to, is just enjoying and playing games digital. And Nintendo knows that. I don't know if I can justify those $80 price points for digital, though. That is a tough pill to swallow. I think for the major heavy hitters like Mario Kart World, maybe, but there's some other Nintendo games that are listed at 80 bucks. And then even third-party stuff at the whopping $70 price point. I don't know. You know, for me, I think my kind of going to scratch my head and say, is the public ready for that? Are they in masses just going to go and buy those and just not complain? Who knows? You know, for me, I like to wait for sales. As you know, GameStop is a good example of a place, at least in the States, that offers lots of discounted games used on sale, especially if a game doesn't sell well. And how many people are just going to wait for a sale and go that route? I don't have a problem necessarily with the Switch 2 being 500 bucks. Obviously, I paid it. But some of those games at that price point, it's the reason why I went with the Mario Kart World bundle. Save 30 bucks and go digital. That way I have Mario Kart World on my system at all time, as I think that's going to be a popular game. All right, let's talk about some of the accessories. So you have the camera thing, the Hori camera. I don't care about any of that right now. I just don't. I'm not motivated to get a camera. A little frustrating that they have to go with a different SD card. And even the GameStop one, which I went with, 512 gigabyte, is 100 bucks. And so I purchased that today, as I know that the Switch 2 can hold like, what, 8 full Switch 2 games digital. So there's going to be a lot of indie releases, which I care about more, that are not going to be filling that card too much. But I have all my Switch games to think about. I'm going to transfer all that over to hopefully play on my Switch 2. So I did get a GameStop branded Express card, I do believe it's called, and it's due to the speed and the 4K gaming, and so purchased one of those. That's an additional 100 bucks. Not to mention, I'm looking at a case. I had a case for my OLED, and it's kept my console in good shape, as well as my original Switch case. And I do get a screen protector, so that's another 30 or 40 bucks that you may want to consider getting to keep your console at least in decent shape. And so I sprung for that as well. And so as you can see, the prices are not just $500 or $450. You have all the add-on stuff. And for some people, maybe for many people, it's too much. And maybe they just want to wait, because you know what? The Switch came out 8 years ago, and you might have been in a different financial spot. You might have not had kids. You might have been a younger adult. Throw your cares to the wind and just game. Like many other older adults, I have less time gaming. And so I definitely see people thinking about those types of things more when picking up a Switch 2. And it'll be interesting to see if that impacts sales long term. I'm not here to say it will. It'll be interesting just to see, as I think the Switch 2 will be successful. So far, the pre-orders have been very popular. So only time will tell long term. Is it going to be as successful as the Switch? That's going to be a hard one to surpass. But it has potential to be popular. The question is, how popular will it be? Are those prices going to impact attach rates of games? And let's talk about the games. Let's jump into the games. So looking at I'm using GameStop's list here for pre-orders and pre-order games. And there's just a lot of third-party and okay. The Donkey Kong game is definitely something that I pre-ordered. And I pre-ordered that at Double Jump Video Games, as Cooper is a friend of mine, and he offers some Switch 2 releases and accessories. I'm also getting my Pro Controller from him, from his store as well. So there's a lot of games that are just third party that I just would rather play on other consoles. There's a few that I'm interested in, and day one, the sleeper hit, as in the title, the sleeper hit is Fast Fusion Racing, and that's a follow-up to Fast RMX Racing, which ironically was a original Switch release game. And Fast Fusion Racing is a cheap digital price of $14.99. So that goes to show you that third-party companies' pricing is going to be all over the place. So you're going to have some affordable digital gaming, and I'm really excited to see that, as I think people are going to gravitate to some of those cheaper price games that still offer a lot of value. Fast Fusion Racing looks great. It is 4K and 60 frames, so I am really looking forward to playing that. It's probably my day one game outside of Mario Kart World, which I think is going to be super popular. It looks great, and looking forward to playing that with my family and friends. So in the comments, did you wait? Do you care? Are you going to eventually get one but wait for a sale? I want to hear from you, as you know what? Everybody's talking about the Switch 2, their experience. Wanted to share mine. I'm excited about having it. Excited about covering it on my channel when I can. Upgraded my computer to do so. And thank you so much for viewing this video. If you like what you see, like this content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell, as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.